2024 elections, very, 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 very exciting times, guys. My thoughts on the brand new political parties, Arise or Rise Mzansi, Bosa, Action SA. Action SA has been around for like what now, 3 years or 4 years, maybe 5. It's still new though. Then you've got a new baby on the block, Bosa. Shout out to Mzansi Maimane. You know, after being kicked out of the DA, just feeling that, you know what, he's gonna go and create a political home for South Africans who are patriotic about the country, who are patriotic about South Africa. We saw Mzansi as a leader. We saw him coming from the entertainment industry, emerging and becoming one of the biggest politicians this country has ever produced, especially young politicians, especially a young DA leader being black. I think he was one of the first or the youngest ever in the history of South African politics, being a leader of an official opposition party. And I think he learned a lot by being within the DA, but he also learned his lesson, as we've all been seeing it from a distance or from the outside when he was in the inside. A lot of the critics, or a lot of his critics, used to say they will use you, and after they're done with you, they will spit you out like a bad habit. We saw what happened to Usisilindiwe Mazibuko, even for her going to Harvard. You could just tell that there was so much that she could want to let out, but for some reasons, I don't know what they made her sign. You know, she just kept quiet and she just disappeared into political oblivion. She just went quiet. But big up to the sister for going to go and educate herself, to go and become a global leader by attaining more education at Harvard. I can only imagine wherever she is right now, she's doing great things or big things. Maybe she's behind the scenes, still in politics. So I do love leaders like Mzansi Maimane who decide to say, you know what, instead of complaining, I'm gonna raise my hand and I'm gonna get into leadership and lead and make a difference in my country. Admirable. Congratulations, my brother. Brand new baby on the block. Right? Is it Arise Mzansi? Because I mixed them up, the names sound similar. Arise and Rise Mzansi. Led by a entrepreneur, successful entrepreneur by the name of Mr. Dagada, who is a very creative entrepreneur. One of the first people to get into cryptocurrency in South Africa, way before I did. You know, he's one of the people that I was looking up to. His education on cryptocurrency and him speaking about Bitcoin and him just working hard to amass, you know, the wealth that he's been able to amass, or the success that he's been able to have as a young person who comes from this country, well-spoken, good-looking, smart, articulate brother, and has a great future, even in South African business. I don't have any doubt that Mpo has got a great future. But does he have what it takes to become a politician though? You know, when I look at Mzansi Maimane, a leader of Bosa, and I look at Dagada, leader of Arise Mzansi, I see good brothers who mean well for the country, who've got good hearts, who are educated, who are smart, they're even good looking. And clean brothers, and you can tell they come from good homes. Those brothers, you can just tell, man, these are good boys. But is being a good boy enough for politics? I know at some point in South Africa we used to say Mzansi is our own local Obama. Is it enough being an Obama in this political space? Because you and I both know politics can get dirty. Politics is a dirty game, and we do need those types of brothers representing us, being there in the forefront and showing us leadership. That we need such people who are opinionated, people who've got great ideas, people who are young, people who are educated, smart, successful, and who feel they've got something to offer for our country on the table. But knowing politics, you and I both know that's a dirty game. And usually such brothers, they sort of seem too soft for South African politics. I don't know if you know what I mean. If you're from South Africa or you sort of get the idea of what I'm talking about, I'll make another example. Let's get into Action SA, which is led by another former DA leader, Mr. Herman Mashaba, very, very successful businessman, one of my role models. Started a hair care, black-owned company back in the 80s, over 30 years ago. One of the most successful businesses in this country. I think he sold half of his company to AMCA for a big amount of money. I think like hundreds of millions back in the day. You can only imagine. For me, it's not even about the money. The fact that he started and built a black-owned company during the apartheid days, and it's still alive till today. For me, he's always been one of those role models to make me believe that I too can start a company that can succeed in South Africa and own our own, produce our own, consume our own, you know? From that aspect, I've got so much respect for him. But then again, knowing Mr. Herman Mashaba, I've had the opportunity to interview him. I've read his books. I've interviewed him more than once. Great heart, good-hearted person, means well for the country. But then again, he's an open capitalist. And also he's been a leader of the DA. And I just want to say, I also see similarities between him, Uput Mpotagada, and also Uput Musi Maimane. For me, he's too soft for politics. He's got a good heart and he means well. And you can also tell Uguti Ndate Herman Mashaba, man, you know, he's got those good values, man. Well, amazing principles. He's a good man and he did well when he was in leadership in Johannesburg. But then again, people like him, you've got leaders of Mr. Julius Malema, leader of the third largest political party in the country, the EFF. I've heard him on some interviews saying, who's funding these